Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and Happy New Year. I hope that everyone had an enjoyable holiday season. Today what we're going to work on is creating bookmarks out of puzzle pieces. So this is what I worked on and I will walk you through how I did this. So some of the things that you're going to need, I broke out the big kahuna for doing an eyelet, and so you'll need some eyelets, and you'll need the something to help you to crush them into the puzzle. So that's essentially what's happening, that crushing. I'm using the glossy Mod Podge, some ribbon, some lace. I've got my words that I've already inked, and I have even a little metal word. The bulb pins are what you're going to need. What else are you going to need? Some distressed ink so that you can ink around your words that you're going to use, and then you'll need a tool to do the distressing. Your favorite glue. What else are you going to need? I have used twine, and I've got a little bit of bling bling, and if I'm forgetting anything else, we'll pick it up, we'll find it along the way. But the big piece is that you're going to need a puzzle. So this is actually a puzzle that's now in my Etsy store, and I will in a moment give you an overview of the puzzle, the matching fabric, and the scrapbook paper. So you can either purchase this and use it, or if you have something at your home that you wish to use, bring it along, and we'll use it. You'll use it. This is the same puzzle as this, but this one is an error. I was having an issue with my printer when I was creating the puzzle, and scripture says, let nothing be wasted. So I didn't want to throw it away, so I made the mistake twice and didn't notice it until later on. This is the one that I used to create today's puzzle, today's bookmark, but I'm going to use this one from the Etsy store. It's the same puzzle, just this one has the ink error, and I actually like how the mistake came out, but it was a mistake that I'm not going to be able to duplicate because it was a printer error. Anyway, let's move it along. So the way that this puzzle is designed is the odd number columns, they actually match each other. So I was able to match the front with the back pretty well. If you're not able to do that with your puzzle, we'll talk about a way that you can just have a single roll of puzzle pieces. So the puzzle in the store, it's 8 columns and 6 rows. So the odd pieces match and the even pieces, they match so that you can get some backing. So let me just move this out of the way and very quickly give you an overview of the fabric, the scrapbook paper line that matches, and the puzzle, and then we'll get right back to creating this. Finally, I have some things in the Etsy store. Let me show you what they are. I have a new scrapbook paper line called Antique Rose, and there's 2 matching pieces of fabric, also a matching puzzle. So let me quickly take you through the scrapbook paper. As you can see, this all matches. The next sheet, there is a matching piece of fabric that goes with it. Here's a folder that you can use. Postcards, journaling cards, an envelope. You can turn these into journaling cards or anything that you can dream up. Some pockets and fussy cuts. Another page that I really like. some tags. It's 11 sheets in total. And then I also placed in some backing paper. So please check out the Etsy store. And we are back. So let's just get right to it. So in the mistake that I made, I had used, let's see, it was column 3 and column 7. So I'll do that with this particular puzzle. This would be column 3. Let's get this pulled apart. And this would be column 7. So let's get this pulled apart. The nice thing about working with a puzzle of this size, this is about 5 by 7.5, roughly. If you kept it whole, this could, and you glued it all together, this could be the cover of a junk journal. And then you could you can use the backing or as the back cover or something. A lot of things you can do with this piece. Okay, so let's get the other pieces that don't match out of the way. Okay, now we have our 2 pieces, and again with this, they line up pretty nicely, pretty evenly to support each other. If you don't have a puzzle like this, what we're going to do is we're going to glue all of these interlocking pieces. This puzzle is so shiny that when I try to do some distressing on the inside pieces, the distressing really didn't stay on. It's so shiny and so smooth, but the distressing did stay on the at least on the this right here, the paper. But as far as it staying on top of the puzzle, it's so shiny, the surface so shiny, so smooth, it doesn't stay on. So just something to be aware of. Okay, so if you don't have a puzzle where you can double things,
once you have glued all the interlocking pieces,
what you can do is, if you have scrap paper that's lying around that you want to use to do some decoupage, I recommend that you do that. So when you're doing your decoupaging, so I'm ripping some scrap paper up here. When you're doing your decoupage, make sure that you're covering where these pieces interlock, and that will tighten the grip between these. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to use my glue. I am going to glue here, and then I'm going to, I don't want glue all over the place. I'm going to get that in there. Very quickly wipe that up on the outside, and then as you're gluing the pieces together, keep them moving so that they don't get stuck to whatever surface you're on. So you go to your next piece and you'll do the same thing. Okay, so I'm going to do some editing while I glue these 2 rows together, and I'll be right back. And we're back. So both of my rows are glued. And remember, you want to keep things moving so that you don't glue things down to the paper. For the sake of time, for the sake of the video, I can't wait for it to fully dry. I'll just keep going. So if you have tissue paper or if you don't have tissue paper, if you have like, you know, regular Kleenex or something like that and it's 2-ply, separate the two, and then you just need a few little pieces. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this part over, and I want to make sure that I tighten that bond between these interlocking pieces. So that's where I'm going to use a little bit of glue across them, and I'm going to use a very thin sheet of paper, tissue paper, or a very thin napkin. So you're going to do this across all of these interlocking pieces, and I'll come back after I've done some editing. Okay, now I'm back. So you could see that I put this thin layer of tissue across where the puzzle pieces interlock. You don't want it to be too thick, because then this gets really thick. So now the next thing you're going to do is you're going to just get your glue, get that all over the place with your puzzle, get along the edges, get along those interlocking pieces, and once you've got all your glue all over the place, literally, that's when you'll take this side and you'll bring it over. Okay, so I'll see you after some editing. Okay, I'm back. I've got glue all over the place with my puzzle, and now that I've got it all over the place, I'm going to bring one piece over to how, you know, you see how it matches the shapes. And again, if you didn't have a puzzle that could do this, you know, I talked about decoupaging for a single-sided. Okay, let's get that down nice and flat. Wipe away any excess. Try to get that as even as you can. There may be a spot or two where it's not exactly perfect, but that's okay. We're going to cover up some things when we do the distressing along the edge. Okay, so you'd let that sit a little while, let that dry, and then you'd come back and do your distressing. So I am going to let this sit for a little bit and continue to wipe away some of that excess glue that comes out, and I'll come back again after I've done some editing. And I'm back. Now remember, as you're pressing this together, you're still getting out some of that excess. You're wiping away that excess glue, and you keep your puzzle moving. So every so often, just move it along so that it's not getting stuck to the surface. Okay, for the sake of time, I'm going to keep moving, and I think that this will hold together enough for us for this video. And let's continue. So the next thing that I did was I got some distressed ink, and I just went along the edges here of the puzzle, kind of darken those up. And I'm not going to do a perfect job because it's a video and you're just looking at overall how I did things. To get into some of those like nooks, crannies, there are different ways that you could do this. You can take this brush, bend it, and then that'll help you to get into some of those edges that are difficult to reach. Okay, so this is not going to be the world's greatest job, again, because it's just a video and you just want to see how did I do things overall. Okay, I think you get the gist of how I did things, so I'll just keep going. The next thing that I did was I got an eyelet, and these are the ones that I use from We Are. So grab a color that you think matches the best, and I used, let's see, which one did I use? For the hole, I used the bigger one. I used the 3/16. So I tried to get things in the center as much as possible when I was putting this together. So let's see how well I can hit the center. So let me stand up for this to see how well I can do this. I think that's about right, centered and straight. Okay, so there's my hole, and then I'm putting in my eyelet. Oops, I have to set that to the top. And you just squeeze that down, and that's in. Okay. The next thing I did, I have some lace and some ribbon that I've already pre-cut. I have a piece of twine that I've already pre-cut, and I just push these through the eyelet. Have to be careful because my glue is still not thoroughly dried. Okay. And then I took my twine and that's how I got that far. I angle cut the ribbon. Oops. And I did something similar with the lace. The next thing I did, I got my metal word and a ball pen, and I put that on the twine. Almost got myself caught there. Now you can stop right here if you like. I think there's a beauty in the puzzle in and of itself, but if you wish to go a little bit further, I have my words that I've already inked up, so I'll get those on. my placement, just to strengthen things between these interlocking pieces, was right where those pieces, where they come together to lock. And you'd let that dry. Here's my next word. And I'll let that one dry. And then I have another word. And then I'll let that dry. Then, because the puzzle was very glossy, I felt that the words had a dull finish. I wanted to keep the words glossy as well. So I used some of the glossy Mod Podge. I typically don't use a brush. I use some pieces of paper, and I don't use a brush. If you don't get your brushes cleaned very quickly, say goodbye to the brush. So I just use some paper. And when this dries, it'll have a glossy finish like the puzzle. Okay, so I'm going to toss that, close this up so it doesn't dry out on me. And then I had some bling pieces. So you can add the bling pieces if you like. The only thing is, if you add the bling pieces, you get this raise, and if you're putting this in a book, you probably will get like a dotted imprint in the book. So for this piece, I'm going to stop here, and things lay flat, but decorate your bookmark any way you wish. It's just something to keep in mind if you add something that's raised. So that's it. This is going to dry shiny and match the rest of the puzzle, which is glossy. That's it. Hope that was helpful, and please check out my Etsy store. Also, Kelly from Root Pursuit, she I sent her the materials, the puzzle, the fabric, and the matching scrapbook paper. She did a wonderful folio. I will link to that in the description area. Please check out the finished project. It's beautiful. All right, everyone. Lastly, what I'd like to read to you, and it's Numbers 6:24 through 26. It says, "The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine on you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face towards you and give you peace." I hope that is what is realized in your life in 2023. All right, everyone. Take care. See you next time. Bye.